Hello, hello, hello. If you are new here, welcome. If you have been here before, welcome back. So this episode is an exciting one. If you have been keeping up with my alcohol-free journey at all, then I'm happy to announce that this month, November, is my 10th month of sobriety, which is wild. If you have not been keeping up, then a little recap for you. I decided to quit drinking on New Year's Eve 2023, end of 2022 into 2023. And it was started off as I thought I was just gonna do a dry January, and quickly realized what a big difference it made in my life, mentally, physically, emotionally. Big emphasis on the mentally. And so I decided to make a commitment to not drink for all of 2023. So I am now officially in 10 months of no alcohol, and it has been incredible. I said that when I started 2023 that this year was going to be the year that changed my life. Last year was horrific for me. Like, everything that could have gone wrong went wrong. I was in a really bad headspace, especially towards the end of the year. I was not taking care of myself in any way, shape, form, or fashion. And I knew that, like, if I didn't make a massive change in my life, I was headed down a slippery slope. And so one of the biggest changes that I made this year was not drinking. And with that has come so many other changes in my life that has been like a domino effect, I would say. So if you haven't checked out my 90 days, 6 months, mentioned 9 months sober in my life update video that I posted a couple weeks ago, I'll link all of those below, but I kind of highlight my progress and kind of thought processes and things that I've learned and just updates on how it's been going for me. I kind of detail all of that throughout the process in those videos. But today I want to talk about probably one of the biggest unexpected shifts that I've had now that I'm 10 months in. And this has just happened super recently. So I know that I've talked a good bit in past videos about how important I think it was for me personally, and I think that it can be beneficial for other people as well. But for me personally, I think a huge component of me being successful in not drinking in the beginning was maintaining my social life as much of a status quo as possible, because I felt like if I, stopped my social life or completely changed it or kind of pulled away from everything that I had been doing, I would really start to resent not drinking, and it would make me want it even more because I felt like it was forcing me to change what I liked and who I was, and I felt like I was going to be missing out on life a little bit. So, and I want to stress this, I really want to stress this. I was not a quote-unquote alcoholic. I had a very toxic relationship with alcohol, but I was not clinically an alcoholic. So I want to make that distinction, because when I say that I think that not changing my social life was such a big part of my success in the beginning, I am also very aware that that is not the reality for a lot of people, because for a lot of people that are in the throes of alcoholism, not changing your habits and your behaviors and what you do for fun and the people that you surround yourself with, for a lot of people, it is what causes relapses. It is what makes it 10 times harder to stop. So I just want to be very clear in that distinction that my decision to not drink alcohol was purely trying to make changes in my life, trying to move my life in a positive direction, trying to heal parts of me on the inside and change parts of me that I didn't like. And I felt like alcohol was a huge deterrent in my life towards me being the kind of person that I wanted to be. So that is why I quit drinking. But on that note, I do still stand by the fact that I don't know that I would have been so successful in the beginning, learning to be comfortable in social settings without alcohol, learning to go out and have fun and realize that I don't need alcohol to have fun. I don't know that I would have been as successful in that had I completely changed my social life off rip, had I allowed not drinking to deter me from having that same kind of fun that I had been having before. I still went out, I still did all the things, I still hung out with the same people. Like, I really tried to keep somewhat of a status quo. And I think that that was really, really good for me in the beginning, because I think that it showed me that I can be a 27-year-old in today's society still wanting to have fun and go out and be a part of the social scene. I can still do all of that and not have alcohol. So I do think that that was really, really good. But here I am in month 10, and I'm going through a really big shift in my life, and I feel it. I felt it the past few weeks really, really heavily. I feel like I'm going through almost an identity death of the person that I used to be, because, and I do think that a lot of this has to do with me moving as well, because for the first time in my life since I've drank, I've like completely removed myself from the atmosphere and the surroundings and the people that I did all of that partying with, that I lived that lifestyle with. This is the first time in my adult life that I have really separated myself from that world. And it has really allowed me to get extremely uncomfortable and figure out who I am now. And I think this phase of this process is going to be the most transformative part of the process for me, and it's really exciting, but it's also really scary, because I do feel like I am closing a chapter of my life. I feel like I'm stepping into a new version of me. I feel like I am saying goodbye to that girl, which is good in a lot of ways, but it's also really scary because I don't know what that looks like exactly in terms of friendships and social life and moving forward. I think it's really exciting, but I do think it's also a little sad, and I think it's okay for it to be a little sad, because since I've moved to Chicago, I've realized rather quickly that I don't enjoy going out like I used to. I think part of what I was able to still have so much fun sober when I was out, when I lived in Atlanta and I was still with all of my previous friends, because those people I felt so insanely comfortable with. Everywhere that we went out, I knew people, I had been there before. I was never the new girl in the room. And so it was fun. Like, I was always around my people. I was always with people that I loved. I was always just surrounded by really comfortable relationships. And now being here, going out to bars and things like that, sober, I don't know, I just don't get enjoyment out of it anymore, because I'm not surrounded by people that I love. I'm not surrounded by people that I'm comfortable with. I am always the new girl in the room. I am always having to have conversations and make friends and meet people and da-da-da-da-da, which is awesome, but it's also really exhausting. And doing it sober in a room full of people that are hammered is even more exhausting. And I think it's just really, really emphasized the fact that not that I think that that phase of my life is over, because I am still 27, and that is a huge part of the culture and society of being in your young 20s, especially in a big city. The going out and the bars and all of that, like, I don't think that I'll never do it again. But it's been really difficult to realize that that is no longer a pinnacle of my personality or my social life. And it's really made me take a step back and have to reevaluate what makes me happy, what do I like to do, how do I like to spend my time, and therefore what kinds of people do I want to fill my life with that I can build that kind of life around. And that's been difficult because it's not only learning a lot more about myself and really having to kind of reevaluate who I am and what I like on a deep level, but I'm also looking for really different types of relationships than I've ever looked for in my life. And that's hard because this is uncharted waters. I've never been in this territory before. And I do feel like it is a form of identity death, and it's really unexpected for me. I did not kind of see this coming. I didn't expect to experience this, I guess. This isn't something that I read about or listened about in a podcast. And so I wanted to share it because I do think it's, like I said, going to be one of the most transformative periods of my life, and also probably one of the scariest and potentially hardest phases of this whole process. But you know, I'm getting ready for a Chicago winter where I'm going to be spending a lot of time inside. I'm going to have to be creative with ways to spend my time and stay active and get out and about and meet people and socialize. And I'm really just having to take inventory of things that I want to do, places that I want to go, things that I want to try. I have this new friend. I talked about her in my Making Friends video, and she also doesn't really drink, which I think is cool and makes it a lot easier to, come up with plans and things to do that aren't going to a bar or going to get drinks and go to dinner. We like to do other things together, which has been really nice, but I'm getting really into my fitness again, which I think is really cool, going to the gym, going to classes, things like that. But I'm also getting into rock climbing. I'm getting into kickboxing. I want to take a pottery class. I've really started to try to cook more. I've never been a cook. I've never liked to cook. I think it's been like a mental block for me, cooking has. So I'm really trying to get creative in the kitchen and learn to have fun with that. I'm going out and about with Louie a lot. I'm trying to put myself in situations where I'm surrounded by people that will like to do the types of things that I like to do and live the kind of lifestyle that I like to live. And that is completely different from the people, places, and things that have been consuming my life for the last 10 years. So that's tough. It's tough. It's really exciting, but like I said, it's also really scary. And I think it's something that, I hadn't really heard about before as being a part of this whole sobriety process, but it's coming at me quick and it's coming at me hard. So I wanted to share it with you all. I think that's the biggest update I have for month 10 of no alcohol. A lot of the other things that I've talked about still remain true. I am mentally more clear than I've ever been. I have more energy than I've ever had. My self-confidence and self-worth are still continuing to be worked on, but still continuing to build upon each other, which has been incredible. All really good things, but some of them more challenging than others. And I think this next phase, I'm gonna keep y'all updated on it, but I think this next phase is definitely gonna be a doozy. So we'll see how it all works out. I'm gonna get creative. I'm gonna stay on top of it. I think so much of it is perspective, how you look at things, how you choose to approach situations. So much of it, of life and of this situation, is the lens through which you choose to look at it. And I'm really trying to keep a positive, healthy, happy, onwards and upwards lens through which I look at this. So going through a little bit of an identity death, but we'll see how it goes. I'm excited, honestly, for the rest of this year and what 2024 looks like for me. I do not have an itch to drink as of right now, really at all. I've been toying back and forth with, breaking this whole year-long pact to myself, but I don't really know why I would, because I don't miss it. So again, keep you updated on that. Month 11 and month 12 are coming up upon me quickly, but so far, so good. As always, these alcohol-free videos have been some of my favorite videos I've posted because of the stories and interactions that I've had with y'all in the comment section. I absolutely love hearing from y'all, and I absolutely love hearing y'all's stories and your level of vulnerability around this topic. So please do leave me a comment in the comment section below. And as always, please be sure to like, share, follow, rate, comment, subscribe, do all of the things, and I will see you back next week.